Picture finding an old map from the Ice Age. This map shows our world in a way we wouldn't expect from such an old document. Surprisingly, it even shows Antarctica as a green, livable place full of life, not the icy land we know today. This strange map, along with others like the famous Piri Reis Map, makes us wonder, could our ancestors from long ago have had really good map-making skills? Good enough to draw the whole world very accurately? This idea catches the attention of Elon Musk, a well-known businessman who usually thinks about the future. Musk is curious about these old maps and asks an interesting question. As we've moved forward as a society, have we maybe forgotten some important knowledge and skills from the past? Could there have been a smart group of people long ago who were good at sailing and making maps? If so, why don't we know much about them? Let's look into this mystery from our past. We often think we understand history well. We believe we've figured out most of its big questions. But sometimes we find things that make us doubt what we know. These findings remind us that there might be a lot about our past that we don't yet understand. Joe Rogan talked about this on his popular show with Graham Hancock. They discussed old civilizations, ancient maps, and long-ago sea trips. You might ask, what's Elon Musk got to do with this? Well, Musk is really interested in these old mysteries. He thinks they could be important for our future. Think of Musk like a modern-day Indiana Jones. But instead of using a whip and hat, he uses spaceships and rockets. Musk likes to question what people think they know. He's especially curious about the idea that ancient people might have known more about the world than we thought. It's as if Musk is saying, I'll show you a hidden world map. Let's take a fresh look at history. To begin this journey, we'll explore an amazing part of history called the Polynesian expansion. The Polynesian expansion is an amazing part of history that still amazes researchers and history lovers. It's seen as the first big sea journey humans made, happening about 3,000 to 3,500 years ago. To understand how impressive this was, think about what ancient people were able to do. The Polynesians were great sailors who traveled thousands of miles across the open ocean. What's really impressive is that they did this without modern tools like GPS or even compasses. They found and settled on faraway islands all over the Pacific Ocean. One of the best examples of their skill is how they found Easter Island, a tiny island about 2,000 miles from South America and Tahiti, making it one of the most isolated places where people live. These explorers not only found this tiny island in the huge ocean but also settled there, creating a unique culture that still fascinates us today. They even made regular trips to and from the island, keeping connections across vast stretches of ocean. This amazing feat of sailing, exploring, and settling continues to amaze us, showing how adaptable and brave humans can be. But here's where the story gets even more interesting, making us question what we know about ancient humans. Graham Hancock, a well-known but controversial writer who often appears on Joe Rogan's popular podcast, asks an interesting question. Could it be that the Polynesians weren't actually the first to make long ocean journeys? Most archaeologists think large-scale ocean travel started with the Polynesians, but Hancock challenges this idea. He suggests something that, if true, could change how we understand early human history. Hancock thinks that humans might have been crossing vast oceans long before the Polynesians, maybe even during the last ice age, which ended about 11,700 years ago. This isn't just a guess. He backs up his idea with interesting DNA evidence found in the Amazon rainforest. This genetic information, according to Hancock and some scientists, suggests that ancient groups of people who shouldn't have been able to meet each other, based on what we currently know, actually did have contact. If this is true, it could mean that the ancient world was much more connected than we thought, with people sailing across oceans and sharing cultures long before we believed it was possible. Scientists found DNA in South America that shows people from other parts of the world visited there much earlier than we thought. Graham Hancock, a writer interested in ancient history, thinks this is very important. He asks us to think about what this could mean. Could this DNA prove that there was an advanced group of people who sailed across oceans during the last ice age? If such amazing sailors existed, who were they? And why don't we know much about them in our history books? Old maps are a big part of this mystery. These ancient maps might help us learn about these forgotten sailors. Hancock studies many old maps that show what our world looked like thousands of years ago, during the last ice age. These maps were made between the 1300s and 1700s, but what's really interesting is where the information on these maps came from. Here's the surprising part. These newer maps seem to be careful copies of much older maps that we can't find anymore. One map that stands out is called the Piri Reis Map. It was made in 1513 by a Turkish sailor named Piri Reis. This map is amazing because it's so accurate and shows things that people back then shouldn't have known about. It has puzzled researchers and history fans for hundreds of years because it's so detailed and correct. The Piri Reis Map shows how skilled ancient mapmakers were. It accurately shows the coasts of South America, North America, and Africa. Though we only have part of the map today, it once showed the whole known world. Piri Reis, who made the map, wrote on it that he used over 100 old sources, some possibly from the famous Library of Alexandria. This discovery is amazing. The Library of Alexandria, known for its ancient knowledge, might have had maps of Earth from the Ice Age. By luck, some of these valuable maps survived for thousands of years in Constantinople until Piri Reis found them. This shows how dedicated ancient mapmakers were to understanding geography. When we think about it, these maps are incredible. They were made when most people thought the Earth was flat. Yet, they show coastlines and land features very accurately. What's even more impressive is that they include correct latitudes and longitudes. This was far beyond what we thought people could do back then. The knowledge and skill needed to make such accurate world maps is astonishing. It makes us rethink what ancient civilizations could do. When sailing around the world, figuring out where you are is tricky. Finding your latitude, north-south position, is pretty easy. You can do it by looking at the sun and doing some simple math. But finding your longitude, east-west position, is much harder. This difference has been a big problem in navigation and map-making for a long time. To find longitude accurately, you need to know the exact time at your starting point and compare it to local noon where you are. This requires a very good clock that works well even on a moving ship with changing temperatures and rough conditions. This is why these ancient maps are so puzzling. They seem to solve a problem that the Western world didn't figure out until the 1700s, when John Harrison invented the marine chronometer, a very accurate ship's clock. In the late 1700s, a new tool called the marine chronometer changed sea travel. It helped sailors find their exact location at sea, which was hard to do before. Without it, ships often got lost, leading to dangerous situations. Surprisingly, some very old maps are incredibly accurate, especially in showing east-west positions. This is odd because they shouldn't have been able to do this without modern tools. Graham Hancock, who studies unusual ideas about history, thinks this mystery could change how we understand our past. Hancock believes these accurate old maps might show that an advanced civilization existed during the last ice age. He thinks these ancient people might have known how to calculate east-west positions, something we thought only modern societies could do. If true, this could completely change our view of human history and what our ancestors could do. The mystery gets even stranger when we look at how these old maps show Antarctica. We usually think Antarctica was discovered in 1819, but some of these ancient maps show it in the right place. They even show it as a green land without ice, very different from the frozen continent we know today. This challenges what we thought we knew about when places were discovered. These maps of Antarctica aren't rough guesses. They're very detailed and show the continent as it might have looked thousands of years ago, before it was covered in ice. If these maps are real, we'd need to rethink a lot about human history. All this evidence makes us question what we thought we knew about ancient civilizations and what they could do. The idea that our ancestors could make such accurate world maps goes against what we usually think about how human knowledge has grown. As we try to understand these mysteries, we have to consider that we might have underestimated what ancient people knew and could do. This opens up new ways to study history and science. The Bimini Road is an interesting underwater structure in the Bahamas. It's made of big rectangular stones that look like a road or path. Scientists aren't sure if it's natural or if people made it long ago. Some think it's just rocks shaped by nature. Others, like Graham Hancock, believe ancient people built it when sea levels were lower. What's really interesting is that some old maps show the Bimini Road above water. This makes us think that whoever made these maps might have seen it before it was underwater. If these old maps are right, it could change how we think about history. It might mean that a very advanced group of people lived thousands of years ago. They might have been able to make very good maps and sail across oceans easily. They might have known about parts of the world that we thought were unknown for much longer. The strangest part is that if such an advanced group existed, we seem to have forgotten about them. It's like a big part of human history has been erased, with only hints left on old maps. One famous example is a map made by Piri Reis, an explorer from long ago. These maps make us wonder if human progress goes up and down over time, with civilizations growing, falling, and being forgotten. These old maps are like messages from the past. They show knowledge we didn't think existed back then. They make us question what we know about history and what our ancestors could do. As we study these maps more, we might need to completely change how we understand human history. When we look closely at these old maps, we find even more surprising things. They challenge what we thought we knew about history. We've already talked about how ancient people might have been able to cross oceans and make very good maps. This idea alone is surprising, but there's more. People like Elon Musk, Graham Hancock, and Joe Rogan are asking us to think differently about history. They suggest that our past might be more complicated and interesting than we thought. They want us to think about the possibility of lost civilizations and forgotten knowledge. As we keep exploring these old mysteries, we find more and more questions. Now let's look at something really surprising on these old maps. They show Antarctica, a place we thought nobody knew about until much later. Today, we know Antarctica as a frozen land at the bottom of the world. It's very cold and windy, covered in ice. It's so harsh that even now, with all our modern technology, only specially trained scientists go there to study it. For a long time, people thought Antarctica was one of the last places on Earth to be found. Explorers and mapmakers used to imagine a mysterious southern land, but they didn't know what was really there. But here's where things get really interesting. When we look at some very old maps, we see something that doesn't make sense. These maps show Antarctica, even though we thought it wasn't discovered until much later. This discovery is so surprising that it makes us question everything we thought we knew about the history of exploration and human knowledge. Old maps of Antarctica make us rethink what ancient people knew and could do. We thought Antarctica was only discovered in 1819, but some old maps show it much earlier. Some maps from the 1300s even show Antarctica as a green place, not the icy land we know today. This matches what scientists think Antarctica looked like during the last ice age when the Earth was different. If these old maps are right, it could change how we see ancient humans. It means some people knew about Antarctica thousands of years before we thought. This is surprising because it's not what we expected from history. It makes us wonder if ancient mapmakers had very good tools or if they lived when Antarctica was warmer. These old Antarctic maps raise many questions. Who made these maps? How did they learn about a place so far away and hard to reach? How did they explore and map it? Some researchers, like Graham Hancock, think this might show that an advanced civilization existed long ago, maybe during the last ice age. They think these ancient people could sail across oceans, explore far-off lands, and make very good maps, things we didn't think they could do back then. Another mystery is the Bimini Road, an underwater structure near the Bahamas. It's a line of big limestone blocks that makes us wonder even more about what ancient humans could do. Some researchers think it might be part of an old harbor from a prehistoric advanced civilization. They wonder if the same civilization that made the Antarctic maps also built this. If this is true, it would greatly change what we know about ancient humans and make us rethink our timeline of human progress. Picture a huge underwater structure on the ocean floor. It's made of big rectangular stones arranged in a way that doesn't look natural. This is the Bimini Road, a mysterious underwater discovery that has scientists arguing. The big question is, did nature make this, or did ancient humans build it? Scientists don't agree on what the Bimini Road is. Some think it's just an unusual natural formation. Others, like the researcher Graham Hancock, believe ancient humans built it. Hancock thinks the Bimini Road shows signs of careful construction, suggesting an ancient society with advanced building skills. The mystery gets even more interesting. Some old maps show the Bimini Road above water, not underwater like it is now. This raises questions about how old these maps are and what the Bimini area was like long ago. It makes us wonder how much ancient people really knew about the world. Think about what this could mean. If the old maps are right, they must have been made when the Bimini Road wasn't underwater. Today, only skilled divers with special equipment can see it. The difference between how it appears on old maps and how it is now is puzzling. Scientists who study the Earth give us an important clue. They say this area was last above water during the Ice Age, when sea levels were much lower. This means the Bimini Road, if it's man-made, could be tens of thousands of years old. If true, this suggests there was an advanced civilization in the Bahamas area much earlier than we thought. This idea challenges what we believe about how human technology and building skills developed over time. If an ancient society could build something as big and complex as the Bimini Road, they might have also been able to make very accurate maps. These old maps might not just be interesting old things, but important clues about a forgotten past. They hint at a world where ancient people did amazing things we didn't know about, suggesting a past full of advanced civilizations and lost knowledge. This kind of mystery really interests people like Elon Musk. Known for thinking about the future and challenging old ideas, Musk is drawn to ideas that make us rethink what we know. The possibility of an advanced ancient civilization fits well with his way of questioning accepted knowledge and imagining new possibilities. For Musk, these ancient mysteries aren't just about history, they might help us think differently about human potential and technology. What do these findings tell us about lost civilizations? Graham Hancock has an interesting idea based on old maps, underwater structures like the Bimini Road, and surprisingly detailed maps of Antarctica. He thinks human history might repeat itself, with societies becoming very advanced. then suddenly disappearing. These disappearances could be caused by big natural disasters like huge floods, earthquakes, or major climate changes. Imagine if our modern world suddenly vanished because of a global disaster, leaving behind only small pieces of what we built. Over thousands of years, most of what an advanced society did would be forgotten. We'd only have small clues left, like these strange old maps, hinting at a lost world of knowledge and skills. This idea of a vanished, highly advanced civilization isn't just made up. Interestingly, stories about advanced ancient societies exist in cultures all over the world. This suggests that people might share memories of a forgotten time in human history. These widespread stories, found in many different cultures far apart from each other, make us wonder if we've lost some important knowledge from the past. One of the most famous examples is the story of Atlantis, a legendary civilization said to have sunk into the sea. For a long time, experts thought Atlantis was just a myth, a story Plato created to teach ideas. But Hancock and other researchers think there might be more truth to this legend. They believe stories like Atlantis might not be just fairy tales, but changed memories of real, advanced societies that once existed but were destroyed over time. This idea challenges us to rethink what we know about human history and consider that advanced civilizations might have existed and disappeared long before our current historical records began. Some researchers believe that many advanced ancient civilizations, like Atlantis, might have existed and disappeared long ago. Graham Hancock thinks the people who made old maps knew about the whole world. He believes they were excellent sailors who could cross oceans, share advanced ideas, and make very accurate maps. This idea challenges what we thought ancient people could do. These ancient explorers probably shared their knowledge with different cultures. This information was passed down through generations and eventually recorded on maps, like those made by Piri Reis. What's really impressive about these old maps is how accurately they show latitude and longitude, which surprises Hancock. To understand why this is so amazing, it's important to know that figuring out longitude is very difficult. It needs very accurate timekeeping, which is hard even with today's technology. The fact that these ancient maps show such precise longitude measurements suggests their creators had either very advanced technology or an incredible understanding of measuring distances and locations around the world. This is much more advanced than what we usually think ancient civilizations could do. The accuracy of these maps shows that the ancient mapmakers were very skilled. They weren't just guessing, they really understood geography and navigation. Hancock compares this ancient achievement to modern inventions like the chronometer in the 18th century, which finally let sailors accurately determine longitude at sea. If an ancient civilization could do this complex math thousands of years earlier, it means they had incredible technology. This makes us rethink what was possible in the distant past and could change how we understand the development of human technology. This makes us curious about who these ancient people were and what else they might have known. Elon Musk is very interested in this idea. He's known for thinking about problems in new ways and sees connections between these ancient mysteries and our current challenges and future goals. For Musk, learning about this lost knowledge isn't just about understanding history. It could help us with our future plans and technology. He wonders if these ancient civilizations knew things we've forgotten and if rediscovering their secrets could help with modern goals, like his plan to colonize Mars. While the idea of an advanced Ice Age civilization might sound like science fiction, both Hancock and Musk think it's a serious possibility worth studying. They believe it could lead to new discoveries and expand our understanding of what humans can achieve. Elon Musk likes to challenge what we know about human history. He thinks there might have been an advanced global civilization long ago. This idea fits with his big plans for humanity's future. Musk believes humans have always been explorers, connecting across long distances throughout history. This matches his desire to push human achievements further, in areas like space travel and new technology. When we look closely at old maps, we find interesting details that support this view. These findings suggest our ancestors might have known and done more than we thought. A good example is the Pinkerton World Map from 1818. This map shows what people knew about the world in the early 1800s. Surprisingly, it doesn't show Antarctica. This is odd because some much older maps, from the 1300s and 1400s, seem to show Antarctica. This difference between old and newer maps makes us wonder how human knowledge has changed over time and if we've lost important information. It makes sense that the Pinkerton map doesn't show Antarctica because the continent wasn't officially discovered until 1820, 2 years after the map was made. But this makes the older maps showing Antarctica even more puzzling. If ancient map makers knew about Antarctica, how did people forget about it for so long? This makes us question if human knowledge always improves over time. It suggests that human history might go through cycles of discovery, forgetting, and rediscovery. This idea could change how we understand how civilizations develop and whether advanced ancient societies existed. Part 3: Musk's Ideas and the Future of Human Exploration. As we end our journey through time and human achievements, we're at a point where old mysteries meet future possibilities. Elon Musk is very interested in these historical puzzles, not just because he's curious. He sees them as a way to connect our mysterious past with our potential future. Musk thinks that the key to new discoveries might be hidden in knowledge from our distant ancestors. This view opens up new ways to research and explore. It challenges us to rethink what we know about our history and how we approach future challenges as we try to achieve more as humans. We've been studying old maps and underwater structures like the Bimini Road. These discoveries suggest there might have been an advanced civilization during the Ice Age. This makes us question what we know about history and how it affects us now and in the future. Elon Musk, known for his innovative ideas in technology, is very interested in these ancient mysteries. His talks with Graham Hancock and Joe Rogan aren't just casual chats. They open up new ways of thinking about human potential and our place in the world. The main topic they discuss is lost knowledge. They believe ancient civilizations might have had advanced technology and excellent navigation skills. This isn't just interesting history, it could change how we view the world today. Musk, who works with cutting-edge technology, thinks rediscovering this lost knowledge could be crucial. He believes understanding our distant past might help us solve current big problems, like developing clean energy and space travel. Here's an interesting thought. What if our ancestors could make accurate maps and measure distances without modern tools? This makes us wonder what other ancient solutions we might rediscover. Perhaps ancient civilizations knew about things like renewable energy, efficient transportation, or advanced medicine that we've forgotten. Musk finds these ideas fascinating. Although he's known for working on future projects like space travel and AI, he thinks understanding history is vital for our future. He believes ancient wisdom could help us make significant improvements, possibly even solving global problems we haven't been able to fix yet. Musk is like a modern explorer, but instead of exploring new lands, he's exploring humanity's forgotten past. He's trying to understand how lost civilizations and their knowledge might have shaped world history. Graham Hancock often criticizes mainstream archaeology for ignoring evidence that doesn't fit with our current understanding of history. Musk wants a more open-minded but still scientific approach to these ancient mysteries. He thinks that even if there's only a small chance that an ancient global seafaring civilization existed, it's worth serious study. This way of thinking challenges what we know about human history and opens up exciting new areas for research that could change many fields of study. When we think about living on other planets, we should first try to understand Earth's history better. This makes us question how we usually think about human progress. We often believe that civilization just got more and more advanced over time, leading to where we are today. But what if history is more complicated? What if, instead of always moving forward, human history goes in cycles? This means civilizations might grow, reach their best point, then fall, and new ones start again. This idea is different from what we usually think. It suggests our current civilization might not be the first advanced one. There might have been others before us that were just as advanced or even more so. These past civilizations might have disappeared because of big disasters like floods, climate changes, or other unexpected events. This idea makes Elon Musk and Graham Hancock ask some important questions. If these advanced ancient civilizations existed, why don't we know much about them? What happened to all their knowledge and technology? If they could sail around the world, build huge structures, and even measure the Earth accurately, something we couldn't do again until the 1700s, why is there so little evidence left? Hancock thinks the answer is simple but powerful. Time itself has erased much of the evidence. To understand this, think about how much can be lost or destroyed in just a few hundred years. Now, imagine that happening over tens of thousands of years. That's a very long time. Even the strongest things eventually break down. Big cities fall apart and nature takes over. The Earth itself changes, burying or flooding entire areas. When we think about it this way, it makes sense that we might not find much evidence of these ancient civilizations. Time hides evidence of the past. Only strong things like big stone buildings and old maps survive. But Elon Musk is hopeful. He thinks we can still find and understand this hidden history. Even though time wears things down, Musk believes it can't completely erase what our ancestors did. Musk is excited about what we might find. He thinks there are many places where old things are buried or hidden underwater. While some people see problems, Musk sees chances to learn about our past. He believes these hidden treasures could change how we understand human history and what ancient people could do. For Musk, these old sites are more than just interesting history. He thinks we can learn from ancient wisdom to help shape our future. He's very interested in exploring underwater. During the last ice age, sea levels were much lower, so many coastal areas where people might have lived are now underwater. Musk thinks whole cities and important buildings might be well preserved on the ocean floor, waiting to be found. He believes these underwater discoveries could help us understand how advanced our ancestors were and maybe even help solve modern problems. Graham Hancock often says we've explored a lot on land, but not much in the oceans. Musk agrees with this. They both think the seas might hold some of the biggest secrets about our past. They see the deep ocean as the last place on Earth where we might make big discoveries about ancient times. Musk is also curious about Antarctica. This icy continent appears on some very old maps, making Musk wonder what might be hidden under the ice. Musk likes to imagine finding the ruins of an old civilization, maybe even a whole city, frozen under Antarctica's ice. This idea might sound unlikely, but recent discoveries of old rivers and lakes under the ice make it more possible. These findings suggest Antarctica's climate was once very different and might have been suitable for people to live in. Some people might think these ideas are just guesses, but Musk believes that even a small chance of making a big discovery is worth looking into. He approaches these old mysteries the same way he approaches new technology, by pushing boundaries, questioning what we think we know, and not accepting limits. For Musk, exploring these historical puzzles isn't just about learning about the past. It's about finding new ways of thinking that could lead to big breakthroughs in understanding human potential and our place in the universe. You might wonder why Elon Musk, a tech leader focused on the future, cares about ancient civilizations. This seeming contradiction is actually central to his thinking. Musk believes that understanding our past is important for planning our future. His big projects, like Mars missions, clean energy, and better transportation, are inspired by his respect for historical knowledge. Musk thinks we can make big discoveries by looking at old wisdom, not just new inventions. For him, ancient history isn't just old facts, it's full of ideas that could help humanity move forward. Think about what this means. If there was an advanced civilization long ago that could make accurate world maps, it raises interesting questions. Did they think of themselves as explorers like we do? Did they wonder about their place in the universe? Musk often talks about humans living on other planets. It's interesting to think about whether our ancestors had similar dreams, even without modern technology. Maybe they wanted to map all of Earth, just like we want to explore space. Musk's interest in old maps is more than just curiosity. It's about connecting with humanity's long history of exploration and innovation. Musk believes that by understanding what our ancestors did, we can better plan our future. The information in these ancient maps might be more than just historical facts. They could be like signposts, showing us what's possible when we try to go beyond what we think we know. At its core, Musk, Hancock, and Rogan's interest in these ancient mysteries is about being curious and open-minded. They're encouraging us to look beyond what we're usually taught about history and to question our assumptions. Their message is clear: don't just accept what you're told. Ask questions, investigate, and be open to new ideas. Musk's fascination with these maps reminds us how important curiosity is for discovery. This desire to learn drives us forward, whether we're exploring the ocean, studying Antarctica, or looking at distant planets. What's next? Let's follow Musk's example and look at the world with fresh eyes. Our ancestors weren't just trying to survive. They were explorers, scientists, and thinkers. They knew and did things that still amaze us today. Their achievements show how smart and resilient humans have been for thousands of years. These incredible people understood things about the world that we're only now rediscovering. Musk reminds us that learning isn't just about moving forward. It's also about looking back, learning from our ancestors, and using their wisdom to build a better future. By combining old knowledge with new ideas, we can make progress in unexpected ways. As we keep exploring and asking questions, we might make exciting discoveries that can inspire future generations. The old world map Musk talks about could be just the beginning of a wealth of lost knowledge. If we keep questioning what we know, exploring new ideas, and pushing our understanding, what other amazing secrets might we uncover? In the big picture of human history, the past and future are more connected than we might think. It's up to us, the curious, the brave, the visionaries, to link these different times and uncover hidden secrets. This search for understanding isn't just for fun. It could change how we tackle big problems like climate change and space exploration by giving us new ideas based on ancient wisdom. We've begun an exciting journey through time and human achievements, but there's much more to explore. Looking into our past might help us solve future problems in new ways. What do you think about these interesting ideas? Should we explore these ancient mysteries, or focus only on future inventions? How could our ancestors' wisdom help improve our modern technology? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your ideas and keep this interesting conversation going. Your thoughts could lead to the next big breakthrough in how we understand ourselves and our world.